Hey everybody, it's Mickey, and today's video is a marathon of some of my fall house tours over the last couple years. I have major FOMO. You know, with all the construction in our house right now, I'm unable to decorate for the fall season, and it just feels wrong in every way. So I thought it would be fun to put together this little marathon of some fall decorating that will somehow make up for it. So if you are new here, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. I thought I would start today's tour in the kitchen because this is really where all the fun stuff happens anyway. My kitchen is tiny but mighty, and I really love decorating this space just because, you know, we spend so much time here. We decorated the table together a few weeks ago, and it hasn't changed at all since that video. I really love the colors that I used in this little tablescape. I love the table runner that I found at Hobby Lobby. I'm using some of my most favorite Rae Dunn dishes. I have these adorable small pumpkin napkin rings, also found at Hobby Lobby. And I have my Lazy Susan all dressed up for the season with a few pumpkins, some lamb's ear, and some fall florals. The table settings are really simple. I just have these round seagrass placemats. I have an orange charger plate that I found at Hobby Lobby on sale last summer, and I have my Rae Dunn dishes here. I have a large dinner plate that says blessed. I have a salad plate that says eat. I have these little pumpkin plates that I found at Target a couple years ago. I really love the color, the deep kind of pumpkin orange color that they are. And my napkins here match my table runner, also a purchase from Hobby Lobby, along with those cute little pumpkin napkin rings. I really love Lazy Susans as table centerpieces. I like to keep them pretty much the same, you know, throughout the seasons, and just change out a few pieces to bring it into the holidays. This Lazy Susan I found at Target, probably now maybe close to almost 2 years ago. I still think that they are available. I will leave links to anything that I talk about in today's video down below for you. But on the Lazy Susan, I just have a very simple wreath that has lamb's ears and these little berries. And I like to add, you know, some florals to it to go along with the season. I have some really pretty orange and green and gold leaves tucked in here. I have a couple of those felt pumpkins that you can find sometimes at Marshall's and Home Goods. And in the middle there, I have a green glass jug that I have filled with those same orange and green leaves with a little bit of lamb's ear. And then around the middle, I just have some white beads with a simple green string tassel. This is one of my favorite cabinets I have here in my kitchen, and I still can't believe I found this cabinet on Amazon. It holds a big part of my Rae Dunn collection. I still love my Rae Dunn. I really don't bring home many pieces anymore, but I really do use and display the collection that I already have. And a lot of it is here in this cabinet and in other cabinets in the kitchen. But on top of here, I have my favorite two-tiered tray. I believe I found this on Amazon as well. And I have just kind of dressed it up a little bit with some of your typical fall finds. I have a little pumpkin there, some autumn leaves. I have a little sign here with a truck with some pumpkins in it. Down below in the back there, I have a Fall Y'all sign that I think I found at Joann Fabrics a couple years ago. Out front here, I have this adorable little candy corn guy. I found this at Home Goods this year, and it's made out of that same felt that, you know, they make the little pumpkins out of, and I just love him. I think he's adorable. And my little bear out front here is holding a little Target Dollar Spot pumpkin that they have almost every year. And this little pumpkin guy I found at Hobby Lobby. So next to it is such a sweet picture of my daughter Rebecca. This is from several years ago. I have this beautiful farmhouse candle here that I just don't have the heart to burn because I think it is so pretty. And I am probably one of the few people that really do like candy corn. There's always a debate every year on, you know, if candy corn is really a good candy or not. I have always loved it, and I think that it is like the perfect candy to fill all your candy dishes. And this is a gumball machine that I found a couple years ago at the Target Dollar Spot. I have several of these. I think I have a black one, white one, red ones. I even have an orange one from this year, and I just think it is so perfect to add just a little bit of candy to. I made a small candy corn tag on my Cricut, and I just think that this looks so cute here on the top of my cabinet. I have a tiny island here in the center of my kitchen, so I don't like to put too much, but I like to dress it up with just a little something for the season. So I have a basket here that I got in a recent Deco Craters box, and I have it just full of those really woolly pumpkins that I've been collecting from Target over the last couple months. This is a October 31st sign that was part of the Dollar Spot several years ago, and I have one of those wooden white bead garlands that I found at Hobby Lobby. I really do like decorating my countertops, you know, for every season. I always have these smaller two-tiered trays here on each side of my stove that I pretty much have decorated all year long. On this one, I have one of those marshmallow cups with a little pumpkin hat on the top of his head. I just think those are adorable. I have, you know, hats for all the seasons and the holidays. It's, you know, just so silly, but I love it so much. I have a little sign back there that was from the Target Dollar Spot I got in Indiana when I was there for October last year. Down below, I have a little sign that I DIY'd last year or the year before. I really love these little house-shaped wood pieces that you can find sometimes at Michael's. I have these for all the seasons. They are perfect to tuck into a little floral arrangement or on your tiered trays, and you can make them match whatever season you're in with a little bit of Mod Podge and some scrapbook paper. I also have another one of those little woolly pumpkins that I got at the Target Dollar Spot, and back there I have the basic witch Rae Dunn mug with a little topper on it. Next to that, I have this display that I've put together on a footed wooden tray that I probably picked up at Hobby Lobby on one of my trips. And I have back there a Kendrick wooden print. I have a couple of these that I just love. You can find these sometimes at Home Goods and online on their website, but this is such a cute one with the pumpkin and the little cat sitting on top of there. I have a big fluffy bow that I put together with some greens and one of my little pumpkin, my tin pumpkin men collection that I have that I found down at the shore in Ocean City, Maryland. Now everybody always likes a good fall candle. This one is Autumn Woods from White Barn. I really do love the fall and winter fragrances so much better than like the sweet scents of like the spring and summer. So honestly, I have these candles going all year long. On the tiered tray on the other side of the stove here, I pretty much keep this pretty much the same all year long. I have my little white church there. I always have my white pickup truck. For fall, I just added a little pumpkin to that. Down below, I have a Wicked Witch Ray Dunn canister. I have another one of those furry little pumpkins from the Target Dollar Spot. It sits in this heart-shaped wood bowl that is full of antique buttons. I have another one of those marshmallow cups, this time with a fall-colored stocking cap on with 2 leaves on it. I just think those things are just so adorable. I always get asked about these nameplates that I have above my stove. I have these out all year long, and you'll probably notice that I have my children's names throughout my house. I have blocks like this on every floor. I usually put their names on some of those coverless books that I have out for display. I just love seeing their names and their pictures everywhere. But I will try to remember to put the Etsy shop that I found these on down below for you. You can find these almost anywhere, and they're really easy to make yourself if you wanted to. They're just little blocks of wood that are painted and stenciled with their names on it. Above that, I have another one of those little Kendrick prints. And this one has the 4 little ghosts on there. Eventually, I think I'm probably going to put names on the little ghosts for my 4 kids, because I think that would be really cute to have out every Halloween. Back before I think Etsy even existed, I used to get like wooden signs made on eBay. And this was one of the ones that I had done, oh my gosh, well over a decade ago, and it has continued to be one of my favorites. You know, every year I have it someplace different in the house. This year I have it above my sink. This is my pumpkins, hayrides, and apple cider sign. I just love this one. I also got this old Salem Broom Company sign, I mean, at least a decade ago. This one I also got on eBay. There are several vendors on there that make beautiful holiday and seasonal signs. I always go on to see what they have. Back in the day, I used to do a lot of like primitive decorating, and these signs were just so great back then. I have a bunch of them for all of the different holidays that I just bring out every year. My goal this year for my fall decorating was to keep things really simple. I wanted to make a bigger impact with color than really with things, because I have a tendency to kind of go overboard with my seasonal decorating. Like in years past, my whole sofa there has just been crowded with a bunch of Halloween and fall pillows, and there was something around every corner. And this year, I just wanted to use color to bring in the sense of the season. I have kept my fireplace and my mantle really simple. This wreath I have up most of the year, and I just kind of change some of the elements inside of the wreath. I always add that little moss-colored pumpkin and a few more of the deeper russet and pumpkin colors to the wreath. On the side there, I just have some pumpkin colored candles on my candlestick holders, and then under the mantle there, I always have my wooden bead garland, but for the fall, I added this really adorable felt pumpkin garland that I found a couple years ago at HomeGoods. If you've been following me for a while, you know my love for vintage typewriters. This is the one here that we have in the family room. I love to decorate them for all the seasons, and for fall I've added a little felt pumpkin, a beautiful bow made from plaid and printed pumpkin ribbon, and that picture right there is my husband when he was just a little guy. I really love lanterns. I have them pretty much all through my house, and here in the family room I have one on the sofa table behind my sectional and one here on my coffee table. On the inside of these lanterns I just have a coverless book with one of those little white houses, and I like to switch out the florals and the bows on them for the season. Here again, I have a big fluffy bow made from that plaid ribbon and the ribbon that is stamped with all of those little pumpkins. I found this ribbon at Michael's and I really love the combination. I think that it is really bright and cheery. Down on the wooden sign that I am using as a tray, I have another one of those little felt pumpkins. I have a great family picture back there, and then I have my little pumpkin man riding his crow. This is from that collection that I had found down at the beach a few years ago that I use year after year somewhere in my decorating. Behind my sectional, I have a blanket ladder that I got from Decor. On there is a wreath that I think I've had for the last couple years now. It had originated around the Christmas holidays, and I just loved it so much that I keep it up all year long, and I just change out the florals. For fall, I have some pumpkin red and gold leaves in there, and then I have my F is for fall sign that I made a few videos back using my Cricut. Alongside my sofa, I have this large seagrass blanket basket that I had bought from Target a few years back. Inside, I have a couple fall pillows. The pumpkin one I got last year, I think, from Target. I also have a couple throws in there. The knit one out front was my grandmother's way back when, and I also have one of those felt pumpkins that I found at HomeGoods. Here in the family room, my favorite thing to decorate, no matter what the season, is my chalk painted china cabinet, but I really do think that it looks its best in the fall. In the back there, I have a copper colored farmhouse sign that I got from Hobby Lobby. It is one of my all-time favorite signs, so much so that I have two of them. The other one is out in the foyer, and I'll show you that one in just a minute. I always have this basket out here, and again, I just changed the florals for the season. I've added a really pretty copper color flower in there with some lamb's ear and another one of those big fluffy bows. I always have a bunch of family photos in this area, usually a few more than what's here right now. I do love this dish rack that I found on Amazon, of all places. You know, Amazon really surprises me every now and then. So here I have some of my rooster plates. I have my Rae Dunn measuring cups with one of those really fuzzy little pumpkins inside, and another one of those wooden bead garlands. And out front, I cannot forget about my cute little primitive witch's shoes that I've had forever. This is another one of those things that I found on eBay. Oh my goodness, we're talking like maybe 10 years ago or so, and I put them up every year. They are always a fan favorite, and it just would not be the season without them. The next stop on our tour is the dining room, and I have this space all decorated in a fun Halloween theme. Halloween is my absolute favorite holiday of the year, so it has to be celebrated somewhere, and this year it is the dining room. I always like to set my dining room table for the season. You know, we really don't use this table very often. We usually use it Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Easter. So most of the year it is, you know, set and undisturbed for months. So I really love to have like a little Halloween theme in here. I think that it looks so cute and colorful, and this year is no different. In the middle of my table here, I have my big Rae Dunn cauldron with my little spooky hat on top. And this is one of those Lazy Susans that I found at, I think it was Home Goods or Marshall's. It's like a big slice of wood and it kind of pivots around. So I can decorate it for all the seasons and it looks really, really pretty. The place settings, I think, came out really great this year. I have a wooden charger plate under just a very simple black one. I have some pieces from my ivory plate collection. On top, I have a coverless book with some fall leaves and a couple little pine cones and acorns. And then I have a couple pieces from my Joanna Parker collection. This is one of my favorite pieces. I always think that she looks just like my Rebecca, and I love any of these mugs or, you know, like sugar bowls that I have where the little witch's hat comes off. I think that they are just so adorable. I have one at every place setting. This is a little sugar bowl here. I have another one that has the creamer. She has a little green face there, and then the one over across from it is a little Spider-Man. One of the most special pieces that I have in my house right now is my Silent Giant desk. This is a vintage desk that I got for my birthday. It has so much sentimental meaning to me, and I really love decorating it for any season. On top, I have a black lantern that I got at Walmart, and I have such a cute bow on top of here. It has some black, orange, and white plaid, and this other ribbon is so cute. It has like jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins and crows and black cats. I think that is like the perfect ribbon for the season. Inside there, I have a Witch Please canister from Rae Dunn. I also have another of my Joanna Parker collection here. This one is a little canister and her witch's hat comes off. I just think she is just so perfect sitting there. Down below from that, I just have a fall throw and another one of those signs that I made a few weeks ago with my Cricut. This one is a ghost sign, and that is next to this large felt pumpkin with a vintage little tag on that. So now we have moved into the living room where I have a couple more of the typewriters from my collection. This one on the coffee table, I think, is from about 1930 maybe. And I have this one all decorated with a couple coverless books, a felt pumpkin, and a big fluffy bow. Next to that, I have this little wooden pumpkin guy that I got at one of our local antique shops here in town. And I also have a vintagey postcard that I found also locally at one of our shops. Over here in the corner on my little secretary's desk, I have another one of my vintage typewriters. This is a Corona, one of the very first portable typewriters. I think it's from like late 30s, early 40s. On top of here, I also have a coverless book with some greenery coming down and a big fluffy bow along with a pumpkin. You know, if you are on a small budget but you want to bring the season into your home, I really do think that ribbons and throws are really your best bang for your buck. Over on my love seat here, I really just have a blanket scarf. I found this scarf at Walmart a couple years ago. It was under $9. I think it was like $7.99 or $8.99. And it really does give a lot of color to this spot. It brings it into the season for very little money. And as you can see, I use bows in all of my decorating. And I think that it is really a inexpensive way to add a lot of color to a space. It allows you to add a little something seasonal to the things that you already have. The last stop on our tour is the foyer. You guys got a little bit of a sneak peek of my fall decor in here in my last video where I shared the results of our hallway makeover. I will leave a link to that video up above for you, but we had just repainted, restained, we added new lighting to this area, and I just could not be happier with the results. Up above my chalk painted cabinet, I have my big fall sign that I put up every year. I have one of my old big Longaberger picnic baskets full of a fall throw and some florals and a really cute pumpkin pillow that I had got from Target last year. And then down below, I have my favorite fall wreath. I found this at Big Lots last year, I think it was, and I just thought that it was so beautiful. The colors were just that right shade of like muted pumpkin and green that just went so well in this area. On my little table here in the foyer, I have another one of those copper colored signs that I have in my den. I really just love this one. I think it's such the perfect backdrop, especially for the fall. I have another one of my little pumpkin men there from my Shore collection. And then I just have a little pedestal here with a couple coverless books. Another one of those white wood garlands that I found at Hobby Lobby, and one of those felt pumpkins. The best way for any tour to start is in the foyer. This is what you see when you open my front door. We have a 2-story foyer in our home, and it's one of my favorite features of our house. When I decorate for a holiday or for a season, I always like to have a little inspiration piece to work off of. And for the fall season and into Halloween, I found this adorable art print from Paper House Prints of this witchy jack-o'-lantern that I just fell in love with. I love the colors and the feel of this art, and it's what I use to help me decorate my home for fall. As you can see, I'm a very traditional fall decorator. I love all of the oranges and browns, coppers, greens, burgundies of the season. I find that to me, these are the colors that truly represent fall, and they are the ones that I am always drawn to decorate my home. I have a pretty good collection of fall decor, so having a basic color scheme in mind really does help build a collection, and it gives you a lot of choices to pick from as you decorate. My living room is always an easy place to decorate for any holiday. The colors in here are just white, gray, and black, so adding a little seasonal color is so simple and has a really big impact because everything here is so neutral. The star of this room are always my typewriters. They get decorated for every season and every holiday. You know, I've always been a collector of something, and these typewriters are one of my favorite collections, and they are so well loved. If you remember early on in the season, we made this Pottery Barn ghost stoop together. This was so simple, and I think it took us like maybe 10 minutes to complete. Since then, he's been living here on my little secretary's desk in the corner. I just think that it was such a simple and fun DIY to do with your kids. You can make like a whole army of these little ghosts and place them all over your house. This is a side of my living room that you really don't get to see very often. This is where I have my treasured grandma's sewing machine, and even it got a little color this year. I have a large basket of pine cones underneath with just a few small pumpkins on top. For the last few years, I have been completely decorating my dining room for Halloween at the beginning of the season. I just couldn't wait until October to pull out all of my fun Halloween things, and I thought the dining room was just the perfect place for it. We start off, of course, with my antique school desk, the chalkboard ghost DIY that we made last year using our Cricut. I have some really old yearbooks from my dad and my father-in-law, and the lanterns there I got this year on QVC. So the table this year I think is so fun. I bought 2 new Halloween garlands this year at Michael's that I just love. They are a cloth garland, which I think really do add so much color to wherever you put them. I also got a couple new Halloween plates that I found online, at a couple different places, but of course Amazon had the best price, so I'll be sure to leave a link to them down below for you. I thought that they were really bright and happy, and they were the perfect addition to the table. Now, my favorite thing on this Halloween table, of course, is my Rae Dunn Trick or Treat cauldron with the witch's hat on top. I just think that it's so funny that the witch's hat is actually a chip and dip dish that just happens to fit on top of the cauldron and just looks perfect. I just think that it is so cute, and the combination is the perfect centerpiece for the table. We decorated the china cabinet with that perfect felt ball garland that we found at Home Goods. And I always like to dress up my big old pine cone that my son brought me back from one of his hikes a few years back. I dressed it up with a big fluffy bow and a little hocus pocus sign that I found at the Target dollar spot. So underneath the china cabinet here is where I like to have some of my seasonal dessert plates. We often have like a late lunch and dessert here in the dining room during the season, and I just think that it's fun to have cute little plates to serve dessert on. I have a big collection, and some of the ones that I have here are from Crate and Barrel and the Target dollar spot. I have plates for almost every holiday. Now I also have my Joanna Parker Halloween tea set here, which I tracked down last year. I am so glad that I found it. I am such a big fan of Joanna Parker's art. I just think her things are adorable. I love her Halloween and Christmas pieces most of all. Now I also have my DIY gumball candy dishes here. These gumball machines were such a popular item from the Target dollar spot a couple years ago, and I just turned a couple of them into Halloween candy dishes to hold candy corn. Across from the china cabinet is my vintage door that holds a lot of family photos. I always like to have a wreath on this door, and for this season I have a very simple lamb's ear wreath that has a Joanna Parker candy corn sign in the middle, and I just made a big fluffy bow with some really cute Halloween ribbon that I found at Michael's. On the cabinet in the corner here, I've added some more pieces from my Joanna Parker collection. That small wooden pumpkin garland at the very top was a Target dollar spot find from probably like 6 or 7 years ago now. I bring this out every year. I wish the dollar spot would bring back more basic pieces like this that, you can keep and use every year. I thought we would take a quick trip to the powder room because I've also decorated it for Halloween. On the counter, I have this really tiny tiered tray that I probably picked up at the Target dollar spot. The sign on top I made a couple years ago using my Cricut. There's a little pumpkin candle, there's a witch's hat with some potion bottles, all from the Target dollar spot. Honestly, I think that it has been raining here in Virginia since the first day of fall, so I have all the lights on here in the family room in hopes that it is bright enough. The family room is always one of my favorite spots to decorate because it's just the place where we hang out as a family, and it's just fun to have it all dressed up for the season. There are so many good things in this room, especially here on the china cabinet. I'm going to try to leave as many links for you down below in the description box as I can. If I can't find the exact link, I will try to leave a link for something similar. I really do love lanterns, and I have 2 in this room that I've had for such a long time that I decorate for every season. Inside, I just have one of those little white houses that light up, and then I decorate the tops with bows and florals to match whatever season we're in. Kitchens in the fall seem to always be the coziest place in the house. There's always something good cooking on the stove, and at least in our family, it's truly where we spend the most time. We are what I like to call table sitters, so at every meal, we are at the table for at least 2 hours, just talking and laughing and spending time together. It is actually where some of my most favorite memories with my kids are growing up. Next to my retro family cookie jar is one of the only photos that I have of myself with all of my kids dressed up for Halloween. I was very much the picture taker in the family, so I am often on the opposite side of the camera. This is one of my most favorite pictures with my kids because Halloween, of course, was such a big deal for us. We had a Halloween party every year. We started putting our costumes together at the end of September. It was just always such a great time. I tell everybody that this little cabinet here in my kitchen is my all-time favorite purchase ever from Amazon. I had looked everywhere for a cabinet in all the furniture stores. Everything I came across was either too big, too expensive, or just not the right style. I randomly came across this cabinet and decided to take a chance on it and ordered it, and it was perfect. It basically holds part of my large Ray Dunn collection, and I always like to decorate the top of it for the holidays. I have another art print that I found at Paper House Prints. This one is of an adorable little ghost. My tiered tray here is all decorated with so many cute little Halloween things. I have a couple Ray Dunn pieces. I have some felt ghosts that I found at Home Goods, a big fluffy bow with a string of pumpkin lights. I really like my table this year. I think that it is very simple, but it really does give you all the fall feels. I love the checkered dinner plates with the white pumpkin salad dish. I really think that our centerpiece came out so good with the addition of some fall leaves and a few white pumpkins. I think it is so fun to decorate the kitchen for just about any season or holiday. There's so many little nooks and crannies that you can add a little bit of holiday fun to. Together we have decorated all the little nooks and crannies in this kitchen. My favorite is when you can add just a bow or some florals to what you already have to make decorating as simple as possible. Decorating for fall has always been one of my favorite things to do. This year especially, it has really helped to lift our spirits and carry us into this new season. I always look to fall for the beginning of the holiday season, which brings us all closer together to celebrate our many blessings. We decorated my front hallway together in a previous video a couple of weeks ago, and I have kept it exactly the same. I brought in a lot of oranges, browns, and creams that have really helped to bring in those beautiful fall colors. I always like to decorate the top of my chalk painted cabinet. It is really a great space to add a little something special. And for fall, I've added this beautiful Oh Sweet Sky sign that I got last year. I have a galvanized lantern that I have decorated with a big gray and cream checked bow, some lamb's ear, and a white pumpkin. I've also added a few felt pumpkins on a wooden tray, along with an orange, brown, and cream cozy blanket. I've decorated the front of the cabinet with a sign that I got at Michael's years ago. I've added some white pumpkins, florals, and a checked bow to bring it into the season. On the skirted table here in the hallway, I'm trying to keep things a little simple. On the mirror, I have hung a ring of wooden beads that I found at Hobby Lobby, a small DIY wreath with a ribbon of orange, white, and green pumpkins. Down below, I've used an old pumpkin wooden sign as a tray, and on top I have a stack of books, a couple felt pumpkins, a picture of the family, and a string of pumpkin lights that I found at the Target dollar spot. Our living room is mostly black and white, and it really makes it easy to decorate for any holiday. For fall, I've added a little felt pumpkin and vintage Halloween postcard to my antique typewriter, and I have added our wooden pumpkin man that I got at a local shop here in town. Back on the love seat, I have a blanket throw that I found at Walmart. I think actually it's a blanket scarf, but it was the perfect size and perfect colors for the love seat. And I also have one of those really large felt pumpkins that I'm using as an accent pillow. Onward now to the kitchen. Here and the family room is where I do the majority of my decorating. These are the rooms that we gather in as a family and spend our most time in. Now you know it is fall when you bring out your new Leaves candle from Bath and Body Works. This is by far my favorite candle scent. I actually burn it all year long, and I am much more of a spicy scent than a fruity scent kind of person, so this one is my all-time favorite. This tray on the island here is from Decor. I have another one of those felt pumpkins along with a fresh baked pie sign that I think I got at Big Lots a few years back, and my Leaves candle is sitting on top of some appetizer plates that I got from the Target dollar spot. I dressed up my Rae Dunn canister set with a little checked bow and some florals with a pumpkin that I found at Target. I'm not quite sure what we would do without the Target dollar spot, because I also got this orange checked tea towel set from Target, and that large pumpkin pot holder I got years ago from Williams & Sonoma. If you remember, I shared that tin lit pumpkin in a Hobby Lobby haul a few weeks ago. The small ladder is from Decor, and I just added to it a small checked napkin, pumpkin, and some farmhouse beads. I only have one tiered tray decorated for fall, and this one next to my stove has those adorable marshmallow cups that I dress up for every season. For fall, I found a pumpkin cap and a candy apple cap on Etsy. I'll try to remember to leave the shop's names down below for you. I know these are so silly. I just think they are so adorable, and they make me smile whenever I see them. I found some new linens this year for my kitchen table. The table runner and napkins I found online at JCPenney's. The napkin rings are from Hobby Lobby. The pumpkin dishes were from Target, I think last year, and the round placemats I found on Amazon. To my centerpiece tray, I just added a felt pumpkin and some fall florals. On the other side of the kitchen is our DIY wreath that we made together a couple of weeks ago. I have this hanging above our small cabinet table. On top of that, I have the pumpkin picking sign that I think I got from Joann's Fabric last year or the year before, my Rae Dunn cauldron, and how cute is my favorite picture of my daughter all dressed up as a witch on a trip that we had taken to Salem, Massachusetts when she was really small. I get asked about these witches' boots every year. Now, I found these on Etsy probably around 2014. I've had them for such a long time. I cannot remember the name of the seller that I got them from because trust me, if I did, she had such awesome stuff. I would buy so much more. For every season, I change out this wreath that I have hanging on this old window frame on the side of my table. Now for fall, I've added a bow made out of that beautiful ribbon with the orange, white, and green pumpkins on it. I have a little bit of florals and one of the pumpkin patch signs I found at Hobby Lobby. On the mug rack on the other side of my table, I've added some of my fall Rae Dunn mugs. I've added a Happy Fall Y'all sign that I think I got from Joann's, and up above is one of my favorite Halloween signs that I found on eBay years ago. Having such a neutral color palette in our house really does make decorating for each of the holidays so easy. I love how adding colors of the season makes such a huge difference here in our family room. One of my favorite pieces to decorate in my whole house is this chalk painted china cabinet. Now we have had this for years, and a few years back we painted it with some Annie Sloan chalk paint, and I just fell in love with it all over again. Some of these decorations I have had for years, but others you will recognize. A few new pieces that I got this year at Hobby Lobby. I really love that big pumpkin patch sign in the back. I think it makes such a cool backdrop to, all of our family pictures and fall decor. We have a very simple brick fireplace that I just love. We painted it white several years ago. I keep the mantle pretty much the same all year long. I do switch out the candles and the wreath for the holiday seasons, but for now I think the wreath is just perfect for fall with its mix of orange, greens, and tans. I found the orange Blessed and Grateful pillowcases on Amazon and found the pumpkin and the pumpkin pillow years ago at Home Goods. Now, I will leave links to as many things as I can find down below in the description box for you. If there is something that you see that you like and I haven't mentioned it, just leave me a comment down below and I'll see if I can find it for you. I first hung these wooden bead garlands on my fireplace at Christmas time a couple years ago, and I love them so much that I just kept them up all year long. The pumpkin garland I found at Home Goods, and that pumpkin hayride sign I found on eBay a long time ago. Well, if you didn't know, I am a collector of many things, and one of the things that I collect are vintage typewriters. I have 4 of them in my small collection, and I'm always looking for more. This one in my family room is one of my favorites. It's an Underwood from the early 1900s, and it still works. I think they are just beautiful, and I love the history of them, so I always include them in any of my holiday or seasonal decorating. We have a small powder room off of our entranceway, and this year I decided to decorate it completely Halloween themed. Halloween has always been my absolutely favorite holiday, and I just think that it is always so much fun. I found this trick-or-treat sign a couple of years ago at Michael's. I have a bunch of Target dollar spot finds, and the Rae Dunn pumpkin spice coaster I found at Marshall's. This old Salem Witches sign I found on eBay years ago. I have found, that eBay is a great source for primitive and holiday signs, and they have some really great shops there that I have been able to find some really beautiful things over the years. So I hope you all enjoyed this fall home tour marathon. This was really fun to put together. I went back and I looked at so many fall tours over the years, and it was just so wonderful to see all the changes that the house has gone through in the almost decade I have been here on YouTube. Don't forget about our 12-week Christmas prep going on right now. If you haven't already, be sure to join us over on my Facebook page at My Bashful Life, and I will put the links to the 12-week Christmas prep planner in the description box down below. So until I see you in that next video, I hope that you love the life that you have, be kind to each other, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.